So whenever I've discussed this online and made it clear the view that I hold to, that God's punishment, the eternal punishment, is one of death and not of ongoing experience, this verse is used like a battering ram and gone, therefore, hell is ongoing experience. I'm going to read it. It says, "And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever. They have no rest, day or night, these worshippers of the beast and its image, and whoever receives the mark of its name." And that's almost left like a mic drop in many conversations around hell. There's a few things I want to say, and then I'm going to go into the Q&A. The first off is Revelation is quite a tough book to understand. We don't have anything like it in our English literature. We don't do apocalyptic literature anymore. We have some highly symbolic instances. We have nations drinking wine. Not nations in the sense of individuals, but a nation. What does that look like? We have a woman riding a dragon. We have fire, sulfur. We have all these images, incense that's called prayers. So I just want to leave you with some tools so you can dig into why this might not be as clear-cut as you think. First off, we need to know the Old Testament. Revelation is filled with Old Testament imagery. It's filled with imagery from Daniel, from Ezekiel, from the other apocalyptic literature, but also there's things, and they don't reference it, so it makes it interesting to dig into. It's not like Isaiah 66 says this, therefore the image is this. It's not that straightforward. And I think that's quite interesting and fun to dig into. But Genesis 19 uses the image of sulfur and fire. And I skipped over it, but 2 Peter says that the sulfur and fire, and Jude calls it the eternal fire, that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, is an example of what will happen to the ungodly. So we then have sulfur and fire. We also have this happening in the presence of the Lamb. That's an image of Jesus. So if someone is cut off from the presence of God in hell, what's happening here is in the presence of God. So we have some things to wrestle with. Now, if you want, I can go into that in a bit more detail where I conclude. I have got some more resources here to go through it. But the other aspect of why I don't think it's as clear-cut is because Revelation usually interprets itself. So when it says the incense from a bowl is overflowing, John then says the incense is the prayers of the saints. He explains what the image is. And I believe he does so on this. So that's all the allusions to the Old Testament from Revelation 14:11. We see those images utilized, and as I said already, all along the Old Testament, God's punishment brings death. But also in Revelation, if we go into Revelation 18 and 19, in Revelation 18:6, Babylon repays double for her deeds. She will be burnt up with fire, in verse 8. There will be weeping over the smoke of her burning, verse 9. Those looking on will stand far off in fear of her torment, verse 10. And then finally, in verse 21, repeatedly, she will be found no more. Sorry, I'm clicking forward, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Whoops. Babylon will be no more. And that is agreed across all views of hell. And then finally, in verse 19:3, the angels sing, "Hallelujah, the smoke of her goes up forever and ever." And as I've already seen before, the smoke is a memorial of something already destroyed. So we're going to conclude there, and I haven't hit some of the main points.